Hi everyone, hope you're doing good, and today I'm going to ask myself the question, why are all my favourite bands putting out rubbish music? And now this video has sort of come about over the last year or so, as I kind of found myself not getting excited for new albums like I once was back in 2021 and so on. You know, after a couple of disaster albums from some of my favourite bands, I kind of felt like making a video discussion talking about this and sort of trying to wonder why this is happening. So yeah, maybe going through the stages through this video might help me understand what has happened and why I'm thinking like this now. So yeah, before we get into it, if you're new, please subscribe for more guitar and rock and metal related content. Please like and share with anyone who you think might like my content, and all feedback and comments are massively appreciated. And a massive thank you to everyone who's subscribed already and for all your support. And now let's get straight into the video. So we begin our journey in 2021, and although these albums didn't particularly hurt me at all, but I think it could be a contributing factor, like a starting point to all of this. And there was 3 massive disappointing albums for me that year, and it was the Gojira, Royal Blood and Whitechapel albums, which I've talked about in the past on my channel, and I just really didn't like and really didn't get on with them albums, and they were disappointing. But like I said, they didn't really hurt me as much because I wasn't that massive a fan of their stuff. I just liked bits here and there, so that wasn't as bad. But as the year went on in 2022, like the first half of the year, there wasn't really all that many albums that were coming out that I was all that bothered about. Apart from the Joe Satriani and the Ibaraki, that's about it. I wasn't really interested in new albums by bands I've never heard before because I've never heard them. But the second half, that was when there was more albums coming out by bands that I liked, you know, bands that I really cared about, but for some reason I just wasn't bothered about them. And you know, after that I went on to later not like the albums. And yeah, I've got a couple of examples. The first one that I just want to mention is that Parkway Drive had an album out last year in 2022, which I didn't like at all. But again, I'd put that in the category of the Gojira and Whitechapel, where it was rubbish, but I didn't really care because I'm not as big a fan of their music really, apart from the first couple of albums. But yeah, the first example that I've got is Megadeth album, The Sick, the Dying and the Dead. And to be honest, it got off to actually a good start. The first single, We'll Be Back, I thought was really good. I really enjoyed it and I was pretty excited for the album. But then I kind of got put off by the song Night Stalkers. When I found out that Ice-T was going to be on it, I just sort of lost all interest, to be honest. Not the fact that he's on it, but it's just like I was just a bit disappointed, thinking, why on earth is he on it? I sort of come to that conclusion quite quick in my mind. But then the next single that come out was called Soldier On, and I thought that song was rubbish, to be honest. Some nice little guitar bits, but I thought that song was crap. And after that I lost interest in the album completely. But about a month after it come out, I did listen to the album in full, but it wasn't like a proper listen. It was, you know, when we were going to the Anthrax gig, we had it on in the car, so I was sort of listening to it, but you can't really, you know, properly listen to it in the car really. But I thought it was alright, but I wasn't interested in buying it, and especially for £13, I thought no way I'm buying it for that. Although I thought it was better than I thought it was going to be, and even that song Night Stalkers wasn't as bad as I first thought it was going to be, because it was only like a voiceover that Ice-T did, thankfully. So I definitely need to listen to it again, give it a proper listen and make a better judgment on that one. Exhibit B is Ozzy Osbourne and Patient Number 9. Now, I didn't listen to any of the singles from this. I was just looking at people's reviews and they were saying that it was better than the previous one. And to be fair, I didn't mind the previous one, Ordinary Man. Maybe that just come out at a time where I was a bit more accepting of stuff. But I didn't mind it, I thought it was okay. So after that I thought I'm going to give it a listen anytime, when I get time. So I did. When we did the Ozzy Osbourne live stream, I listened to the album, and the first time I heard it I really wasn't into it. I didn't like Ozzy's vocals. I thought they were just so produced and canned and processed and not organic. Didn't like it. But the second time I heard it, I did like it a bit more, but not enough to make me want to buy it. And to be honest, I don't think I'd want to listen to it ever again, to be honest, because it's okay but not brilliant, and yeah, an album that was very disappointing. Despite it having a lot of good names on it, it was still an album that I didn't really think much of. Exhibit C is Slipknot, The End So Far, and yeah, this one was a massive disappointment for me. I heard some of the singles and I thought they were average at best. I didn't like them, to be honest. The first one that come out just felt like a rehash of songs I've already done, and then there was that song Yen, and I thought it was boring and long. I did hear the album because again we did a live stream talking about Slipknot, and I really didn't like it. I felt so underwhelmed listening to the album. There was a couple of high points, but mostly it was just a load of average drab, to be honest. I really didn't like it, really didn't enjoy it, and to be honest I didn't understand why people were liking it so much. And it was at that point where I was just really not feeling music at all, to be honest. It was around that time, sort of October, November, when I took a break from YouTube, mainly because of that, because I was absolutely drained and burnt out, and I was not, I was hardly listening to music at that point because I really just got fed up with it. And I think all of that is probably a contributing factor, especially with this album releasing and being a total fail. So after that, 2023 rolled around and it started on a pretty good note. I was feeling more motivated to make videos and I got my passion back for music, which was awesome. And there were a couple of new albums coming out that I was actually quite excited for and interested to pick up. However, as the year's gone on, I've kind of felt less excited for them and not as interested in many albums. And I've only listened to 2 albums from this year so far, and we're about halfway through the year, and I think the main reason behind that is the big disappointment, Exhibit D, Metallica's 72 Seasons. And yeah, I was really excited for this album. When Lux Eterna dropped, I absolutely loved that song, and it actually helped me sort of get through my problem at the time, my issues with music and my demotivation basically. And then when Screaming Suicide come out, that was another really cool song that I quite liked, and I was getting really excited for this album. But then If Darkness Had a Sun come out, and that was really disappointing, and that really lowered my hopes for the album. After that, the title track come out, 72 Seasons, and although I thought it was a lot better, but I still was just not into the album, and I really just wasn't interested in it, and I still haven't listened to the whole thing yet. I have listened to about half of it, and the songs that I listened to were not good at all. I thought they were average, ploddy, boring rubbish basically. I thought they were absolute crap for some of the songs that I listened to, and yeah, it was very, very disappointing, and I just completely lost all interest in listening to it. And the fact that every other video you saw on YouTube was someone talking about the album as well, that just really annoyed me, and I just thought, what, I'm fed up with this, I can't be bothered. So, I kind of just can't be bothered to listen to it now, and I'm definitely not buying it for £13. You can bugger off with that. I'm not bloody paying that for it. So yeah, that was a massive disappointment. And the last one I'm going to pick, Exhibit E, is Avenged Sevenfold's new one, Life Is But a Dream. And wow, there was a lot of anticipation for this new album, considering how long it had been since the last one, and the fact that the last one, The Stage, was a really good album. I really enjoyed it. Although, hearing what M Shadow was saying, like one of his big influences for the album was Kanye West, and I'm thinking, what? You know, that was worrying to me. That just got like warning signs going off in my head. And then when the first single dropped, Nobody, I thought it was absolutely dreadful. Apart from the guitar solo was amazing, but the song itself had the worst riff. It sounded pants. It sounded like something that you'd come up with when you first learned guitar or something. It's crap. And after that, I just thought, no, I can't be bothered. And you know, I saw reviews of the album and some of the singles, and a lot of people said the same thing, that it's weird, it's strange, and it's very jarring. And you know, a lot of people didn't like it. Some people did like it, but I thought, nah, this album's not going to be for me. I can't be bothered with that. So it really put me off listening to it, and I don't intend to be honest. And yeah, that was definitely the final nail in the coffin for me. So after that, I was really panicking, and you know, thinking like, all my favourite bands are all making such rubbish music. Why? What the hell's going on? And that sort of prompted me to want to make this video, sort of, you know, try to understand it, because I didn't understand what was going on, you know, how it was making me feel, why I was feeling like this, you know, with some of my favourite bands. I've sort of, you know, it made me lose my passion for music at times, you know, and a couple of times now. So I was sort of sitting here thinking like, well, what am I going to do? What can I do? And I think I'll come up with a couple of answers. So my conclusion for this is that some people have told me in the past that sometimes you reach a stage where bands you used to really love, they'll let you down one day, and you won't like them, or you won't care about them as much. And to be honest, I think I've reached that stage right now, and I kind of have to accept it. You know, I kind of just have to move on from that. And you know, maybe the music isn't rubbish, maybe it's just my expectations of the bands, my expectations have changed over the years, and what they've done has just disappointed me, and I'm hurt by that. You know, over the last year or so, I've sort of switched my focus to discovering bands that I've not listened to yet, or never listened to ever. I've been doing that for about a year now, or 2 years now, and I kind of felt like I'm at the stage now where I want to do that more than, you know, caring about new albums, and especially like new albums from bands that I like and they're disappointing. Like, I think I'm just at that stage now where I'm just gonna do that, I think, more than care about new albums, because I think that's the way to go. I think it will help me reclaim my passion and motivation for my music, and you know, liking my music again, if I just, you know, let all that go and find new bands and find cool new bands to check out and listen to. And you know, this might just be a current phase that I'm going through. You know, I was thinking that like maybe in the future I might come back to some of these albums and like them and think they're really good. And you know, what was I thinking? You know, 23-year-old me, what on earth are you thinking? Because these albums are actually pretty good. So you know, I think that's at the stage I'm at now, where I'm just sort of, a lot of those bands I'm just going to drop and leave, and discover a lot of bands that I've not given any time to, and check them out and, you know, enjoy their music instead. So that was my video, basically having like a therapy session for myself. I hope you enjoyed watching the video and hearing my thoughts. For me personally, it was very therapeutic to get all these thoughts out, and I feel like it's helped me quite a lot. And you know, especially now at this time where I'm going to be taking a break from YouTube as well, I think it was very good to sort of end on a note like this. I won't be making too many more videos after this, so you know, I feel like this has helped me a lot, and I can go and enjoy my break and listen to a lot of cool music now. And also, before we finish, I'd love to know if anyone else feels or has ever felt the same as I do now, you know, and if so, what band or what album was it that made you feel that way? I think it'd be a really awesome discussion in the comments that we can get some people talking about this, because I think it's a really cool idea, it's a cool subject. And yeah, that's it. If you got this far, thanks ever so much for watching, and until the next time, keep it metal.